All right, everybody, thank you for stopping by. So I'm going to be doing another tips and tricks video, and I'm taking it down to 5 instead of 10 just because that video ran a little bit long, and I want to keep the videos as short as I can just to keep interest, because I feel like when they run for too long, they kind of lose interest. So yeah, let's jump right into it with the first tip. Okay, so you're probably wondering what I mean by using the map to your advantage. And there's two things I want to mention under this category. The first one is using those little pods that are around that boost you up to your advantage. So I have no idea what they're actually called, but these pods right here in the clip I'm showing right now is what I'm talking about. And you can use these in different ways to have an advantage. That one that I just showed right there, there's times where you can use that to get behind the person that is there. And if you know you're strong enough to take them on, you can use that to go behind them and take them on, and they have to pass you in order to get back to their tower. And that's just one example that I wanted to talk about. The other one is using it to escape. And I'm sure a lot of you already know about this, but I just kind of wanted to point it out for people who don't think of it. So each site has one right here where you can go and hit it and get away from a fight like I am in this clip here. And it's perfect for escaping and getting away. And I call it the great escape pod because like, there's so many times I've gotten away with it, but you have to be careful because sometimes they can come with you. So you want to make sure that you're angling it correctly. But I'm sure a lot of you already knew about that. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was actually using like walls and the map to your advantage. So this is a clip of a replay where I tried to help my Kawang, and you can see he's going bad there. So I decided to kind of run away. But then I kind of see like, oh, they're kind of on low health right now. So I'm going to see what I can do because I can get to my tower out there if I need to. So I hit him, boom, kill him. And then it's a 1v1 and he keeps rolling away. I'm like, oh, crap. So I go here and I use this wall. Every time he shoots at me, I hide behind the wall and he can't hit me. And he uses up all of his abilities. And then while my abilities recharge, and I can go get him. And that's kind of what I mean by using the map to your advantage is you can hide behind walls and their abilities will hit the wall and not you. And a lot of people don't ever think about this. And the Quang was really getting mad at me, and then he watched me do that, and he's like, "Never mind, I see what you're doing." But yeah, a lot of people don't ever think about doing that, like hiding behind a walls, especially when you're fighting a ranged character, because they'll try to hit you with their ability, and you duck behind a wall, and their ability hits the wall, and then suddenly their ability's on cooldown, and your abilities have finished the cooldown. All right, so the next tip I'm going to leave is setting up your lane. And what I mean by setting up your lane is when you're in a situation, mostly late game, where you're rotating a lot, one thing that you can do is when your minions are equally matched in the middle, what you can do is kill one or two of those minions, just enough to give your minions the advantage. And what it does is they fight long enough that it holds them up, and then your minions respawn, and then they'll get there, and your minions will outnumber their minions, and they'll slowly build up this big group. And eventually, if they're left alone without any like human interaction, like nobody goes over and kills them, eventually your minions will get to the tower with a huge amount of minions, and they'll be able to take the tower without any intervention, and you won't have to do anything. Okay, so here I'm going to show you a clip where I'm doing this. You can see here I kill 2 minions, and then I run over here. I check on green buff and it's whatever, that's gone. But then I head out, and here's the map of what's going on. So you see here, we have the advantage. Boom. Our minions are fighting. We win. Boom. Move here. They're here. Oh, look, another group coming. And then suddenly you have a huge group of minions right there. Boom. And then you're over here fighting, and you're keeping them occupied so they don't go and stop the lane. But unfortunately, they catch on, and the crunch does stop them. But you can see there, if the crunch wasn't paying attention, that would have lost their inhibitor there. And I have another clip here. I'll show you where it actually works. Okay, so here's another clip where I set up the lane here. I'm pushing with them, then I leave them. Boom, they're fighting here. We got another group of minions coming. Suddenly got a huge group of minions here, and I'm helping a team fight in the middle. They go here, clear out these minions. Boom, they're killing the tower. And they're like, oh crap, they're coming over. They're fighting it. Oh, doesn't matter. Tower's gone. And it could be really devastating when you do that, especially when you're going for team fights, and just to make sure that your lane is in a good position where you can go and do those team fights without losing your lane or anything like that. And like I said, if left in the right situation, a lot of times you can take a tower or an inhibitor or even sometimes you can get what they call a winion, where the minions will go and kill the core while the enemy team's over here in the your base fighting, and they don't pay attention to a lane, and your minions push up and just kill the core. So it can be really devastating if used correctly and if in the right situation. But yeah. So this is another one that's just kind of a good practice to have, and it might not always help you, but if you're about to get into a fight, especially with someone like Morgesh or Shimbi, where they have an ability that can hit you once you're in safety, or even like a Murdoch, where he can snipe you from across the map, is when you go into a fight, use your health potion, because that is an additional health that is regenerating as you're fighting. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten in a skirmish with a Morgesh and we both kind of split up and go our own ways. And she uses her ult, and the only reason I am alive is because I had that small regeneration from the potion that I was using. And there's been times in fights where it saved me. I can't, like, how many, if you've ever played the game enough and you're a veteran, you know, there's a lot of times where you'll survive a fight by the sliver of health, and having that health potion in the middle of a fight can really save you and put you in a position where you'll have that sliver of health rather than just dying and losing the fight. So this is just kind of a small tip, but a lot of people don't ever think about it when you're in the middle of the fight. They think about it when you're off to safety in your own health, and it's like, okay, I'm going to pop off my health potion and just heal up till I can get back in the fight. But a lot of people don't think about, maybe I should use it mid-fight to have a little bit of extra regeneration. So this next tip is something that I added because of a recent game that I had where my team won a team fight, and I did not survive the team fight. Me and my brother were playing, and we both had died, and the three teammates that we had survived the fight, and it was a team wipe. And rather than pushing a lane, they went and grabbed Orb Prime, and that's not always a bad idea, but you need to be smart on what you're doing when there's a team fight. So this is the clip I was talking about, and I'm just gonna kind of talk over it while it goes. But what you want to do is, if you win a team fight, you have a choice to make. If that you killed them in a way that they're staggered and they're all gonna come back at different times, then you handle that completely different to when you kill them all about the same time. And another factor is how long it takes people to respawn out. Is like, in other words, how late are you into the game? You see right here, they had a whole minute almost, like crunches a little bit coming sooner. They could have pushed this lane and had an inhibitor down, but they stopped what they were doing and went and killed Fangtooth, or not Fangtooth, or Prime, which was a really bad idea. Because for one, the jungler wasn't there. And luckily, Skylar's busted, so they did a ton of damage to him and were able to get it in time. But if Crunch had respawned, he was a jungler. He could have came over and boom, just taken that from him with smite, and there's nothing they could have done about it. But at least in my opinion, what they should have done was pushed up that middle lane, because the minions were already there pushing that tower, and they could have had an inhibitor down. And then suddenly their team is fully on defense. And the reason why I think it's really good to get inhibitors down over focusing on Orb Prime is, once that inhibitor's down, and even when it comes back, it doesn't do any damage anymore. You can easily just go in and smash it. You don't need any minions to do it. So if you can get them down at least once you get in a position to where you can turn around really easily, taking those inhibitors back again is not that hard at all. Like, it's super easy, because all you got to do is go hit it. You don't have any competition. The tower's not going to be blasting you in the face. And like I said, like, it really depends on the situation, because like, I guess you could have argued right there was a good time to go for the Orb Prime, but I would not have done it without the jungler. But that's just up to me. But at the same time, like, I think taking in the inhibitor at that point would have been a much better idea. I think a time that would have been good to go for Fangtooth or Prime would have been if the minions weren't already like pushing up into the tower. You can see in that clip, the minions are really close to their tower when they died. So we could have easily taken that inhibitor down, and maybe even had time to go do Orb Prime once we had respawned and come over and done it, because they would have been on the defense trying to stop their core from being killed by minions. Because if you had a group of minions build up there and you took their inhibitor, their minions would have been attacking the core, and you could have had time to go and kill the or a prime, and then at the same time my brother was chimera, he could have responded, came over and helped and got it with smite, and it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. And I know that's kind of a risk because there's times where they'll just ignore their core and come and try to stop you. But like I said, they would have been on the defense trying to get their lanes back in order, because that's an entire minute where none of their players are in the game right now. But it's kind of situational, and it also depends on your opinion, but that's just my opinion and my advice that I give. Okay, so this last tip I'm going to make is going to be talking about team fights. When you are in a team fight, you do not want to be focusing on the tanky guy that's taking all the damage right off the bat. When you are in a team fight, you want to be going after all the squishy, weak, heavy damage characters that are just going to be sitting there racking up kills in the team fights, rather than going for the tanky characters where they're just going to keep taking your hits and take forever to die. And then by the time that you actually kill that tank, your whole team's weak and almost dead, and you just get picked off by the carries and the high damage people. I can't tell you how many times I'll be facing a Greystone, and it will be in a team fight, and the Greystone will just be absorbing all of our damage. And then once you finally get him low enough, he'll just ult, and your team will keep trying to kill him while he's in his ult. And they're just wasting all this time and their abilities on trying to kill him when he's in his ult. He's invulnerable, and he'll come back down. And if you don't get away, he's going to come down and do a lot of damage to your team. But what you should be doing in a team fight, at least in my opinion, is your tank person should be going against their tank person, holding them off. The support should be stunning their tank person. And then the carries and mid lane should be going after their weak, squishy people like the Murdochs, the Sparrows, the Greystones. And as soon as they are down, your entire team can focus on the tank and kill the tank. Because a lot of times, like, the healer will just be sitting there healing their tank, and then they're just sitting, your whole team's just trying to focus on one person, and you're only doing damage to this one person, like a Greystone, for example, that'll just come back to life with half health or however much he comes back with. And the entire time your team's wasting their abilities on trying to get rid of him, when you should be killing all the weak characters that are easy to kill but do a ton of damage to you. And they're just sitting there picking off your team. And I don't know, a lot of people just don't seem to do that. And also, I'm going to add a bonus tip here. Don't try to be kill greedy when you're in a team fight, because what you want to be doing is just focusing on winning the team fight, not trying to be the last person to get the hit so you can get the kill. That's not what's important. You want to be winning the team fight and be doing what you need to be doing to like I said, win that fight. And if you're in a team fight and you are the tanky person that's taking all the damage and you die, but your team ends up wiping their team, that is still a win. Don't feel bad that you died. It's literally for the greater good that you died. And I know that's kind of a Harry Potter Grindelwald thing, but it doesn't really matter if you die, if their whole team dies as a result of it. So you just want to be making sure that you are targeting the right people and not just going after the tanky person and wasting all your efforts to try to do that. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you want to see more. And be sure to leave comments below of ideas you'd like to have for the next video for tips and tricks. And if I like your idea and I choose it, I will call you out and have your name on there and give you the credit for it. So be sure to comment any suggestions that you have. And like I said, if I think they're good enough to use them, I'll give you the credit for it. So yeah, be sure to subscribe and like the video. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you.